Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting a Chaos Lord on Karkadrak. Yes, here it is. It's one that I think a lot of people have been asking for a while, so we are finally getting around to doing it, and we are going to waste no further time and we're going to jump in and start painting him. He has been primed in Grey Seer, and the colour that we're going to be using first is Mortarion Grime. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of the Karkadrak's skin. So we're just going to start around here and we're just going to work our way around the model. Like I said, we're going to get this over all of it. We're not being discerning here at all. So with that done all over, as you can see, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia and we're going to apply this to the smaller scales around the body. So we're just going to load up our brush here, and just around here, for example, we're just going to start applying this . Just like this. You don't need loads on your brush at a time as you do this. As you can see, quite a lot of it goes, well, quite a small amount goes quite a long way here. So with that Seraphim Sepia applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this to the larger scales over the top, going all the way down. So we're just going to load up the brush here, and starting here around the face, we're just going to start applying this. Now it is going to darken it down, but don't worry. Got a plan for that. And so just whilst we're waiting for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Poxwalker. I'm going to apply this over the eyes. So with that done, what we're going to do is we're just going to move on very quickly because it's all still drying at the moment. But what we are going to do is we're going to move on to painting the claws here and the sort of battering bits on the tail, and we're going to paint in the horn and the teeth as well. Now the colour we're going to be using for this is Black Legion, but it's slightly different for the main large horn than it is for the smaller ones. So for the smaller ones, what we're going to do is we're just going to apply this Black Legion very carefully over the top of the whole thing. Just like this. Same for these ones back here. And you want to make sure that you do both sides. Like so. Whereas what we're going to do for the main horn is we're going to load up our brush with Black Legion and we're going to paint it all over, and then we're going to take some off the top. So we're just going to start down here at the base of the horn, put it all the way up, make sure we get it all over this half, like that. We're then going to wash the brush, and then with a clean brush we're just going to take off some of that Black Legion so it fades up like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of contrast medium and Black Templar. And over the top of these large horns, along the kind of the top parts, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a little bit of blending. So we're going to take our thinned down Black Templar, and on each of them, what we're going to do is we're going to pick this one just here, is we're going to basically paint this all over and then lift off the excess that we don't want. So we're just going to apply this like so, wash the brush, and then take off around about half of it, like that. I'm going to do this all the way along. Each of our horns. And so with that done, we're then going to take Black Templar on its own. We're just going to add a small amount of this to the tips of each of those horns. So with that done all the way around, what we're now going to do is we're just going to very quickly take some Shyish Purple and we're going to apply this over the top of the tongue. Just like that. With that done, it is now time to start brightening up the Karkadrak once more. And well, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thin down Wraithbone and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the outward facing scales. So for example, we've got the neck in here, we've got all of the head areas, we've got the top, and we've got the outside of the legs, but the inside, as we get right down in here, we don't need to do because we want that to be nice and shadowy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that thin down Wraithbone and we're just going to start applying this over the top of all of our scales. So we're just going to start applying this like this, over the top, just avoiding any of the recesses. Just like this. Now it might take a couple of thin coats to get it up to a nice bright colour. So just take your time. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with that done, he's looking pretty cool. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to take some grey Seer. I've got it thinned down a little bit more than normal because what we're going to do is going to add this as a little bit of a glaze just to these top scales up here. The really big thick ones. And with that done, it's then back to Wraithbone to add some highlights to our spikes going along. Like this. I'm going to use lots of little lines on them as well. And that goes the same for the horn at the front. So with that done, we've done quite a lot of work on the Karkadrak, and it's very nearly finished actually. But what we're going to do is we're going to move on for now because we're going to start blocking in some of the other colours, and we'll come back to finishing it later when we do our final kind of sweep of highlights all over. But right now it's looking pretty awesome. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to move on now and we're going to start painting in all of the armour. Now this is going to include on the Karkadrak itself and on our Chaos Lord. And the colour that we're going to be using for this is Black Legion. And we're just going to now sort of take this very steadily, working our way up the model. And just being very careful once we get near any of the Karkadrak's details that we've already painted. So with all of that Black Legion applied, as you can see, it's a lot of black. What we're going to do now is we're going to take some Flesh Tearers Red and we're going to apply this to all of the cloth. So we've got the saddle cloths, we've got the reins, and we've got the cloak as well. So with all of that Flesh Tearers Red applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade and we're going to apply this to all the fur. So we've got some around here. And in front of the leg. As well as on the other side and at the top of the cape. So with all of that Agrax Earthshade applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Cygor Brown. And we're going to use this over the top of all of our leather details. This is going to once again include some painting on the Karkadrak. All of these straps. It's going to include areas like the boots and the belts. So with that done, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of the skulls and this tassel that we have here on his belt. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Terradon Turquoise and we're going to apply this over the top of all of our horns. So with that Terradon Turquoise applied, we're then going to take some Black Templar and we're going to apply this over the top of those horns. We want them to be nice and dark here, but still have that kind of turquoisey finish underneath. And so with that done, what we're now going to do is going to move on to all of the metallics. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. We're going to start applying this over the top of all of the trim and all the decorative features across the model. I'd recommend having a look at the box art. To make sure you get it all, but there is a lot of gold, as there always is. And so with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over all of our remaining details. So we've got all the kind of chainmail, we've got the stirrups, we've got those spikes on the back of the boots, we've got the various buckles and things on the straps on the Karkadrak, the weapons. Just as with the gold, there's quite a lot of silver too. So with that done, it is now time to add some shades to the model. And the first one we're going to add is Agrax Earthshade. And we're going to use this over the top of all of the gold. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over the top of the black armour and all of our silver details. So with that done, our Chaos Lord on Karkadrak is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. I mean, he's a little bit beyond that because we did all that extra work on the Karkadrak, but he's looking pretty fantastic. However, we're not going to leave him there. No, what we're going to do is take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some more highlights. Now, the color we're going to be using first is Dawnstone, and we're going to be using this to highlight all of our Karkadrak's claws, teeth, and kind of bits that we just painted with Black Legion and then didn't do anything else to. So with that Dawnstone all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Administratum Grey and we're going to add this to the sharp points across all of these details. So with that done, believe it or not, the Karkadrak is nearly finished. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Flesh Tearers Red and I'm going to apply this over the top of the eyeball. Well, eyeballs. There's two. And so with that done, we're then going to take a teeny tiny amount of Fire Dragon Bright. I'm going to add this as a little highlight on each of the eyes, like that. So with that done, the majority of the Karkadrak is now finished and it looks absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do now is move on to our next biggest colour, and that is going to be all of the black armour. Now the colour we're going to be using for this is Russ Grey. But what we're not going to be doing is highlighting the kind of burnt in sigils in here around on the armour and up here on the greaves. The greaves? Band braces. Braces? What? Don't know. Anyway, we're going to be taking some thinned down Russ Grey and we're going to be using this to highlight all of our black armour apart from those areas. So you just want to start picking out all the edges. Now this is going to take a fair while. So just take your time. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with that Russ Grey all applied to all of the black armour, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Thins Down Fire Dragon Bright. And we're going to use this to highlight those chaosy sigils scattered around. Just like this. So with that done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Lugganath Orange and we're going to thin it down just a little bit more than normal, so 2 or 3 parts water, make it nice and runny. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop this into those recesses in those sigils. Just like this. It's going to look a little bit messy, but don't worry. So with that Lugganath Orange applied, just to point out we've done the sword as well, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Gryph-Hound Orange now, and we're going to apply this over the top. Just like this. So with that done, a huge amount of the detail work is now finished on the Karkadrak. However, we do just need to do the rest of the black, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some Fenrisian Grey and we're just going to hit the sharpest corners and the rivets. Across all of the black armour. So with that done, all of our black armour is now finished. So what we're going to do is move on to the red. And well, the colour we're going to be using first is Mephiston Red. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be picking out all of the flat areas, just avoiding anywhere where our Flesh Tearer's red has really settled. So with that Mephiston Red applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Evil Sunz Scarlet, and rather than doing a relayer here, what we're looking for are any of the kind of raised details within all our fabrics. So we're looking for that little bit of hair to go. So with that Mephiston Red all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Evil Sunz Scarlet, and what we're looking for here are the raised folds. In all the fabric. So with that Evil Sunz Scarlet applied, what we then do is we take some Fire Dragon Bright, and just towards the top of the cloak here, we're going to add some little spot highlights over the top of our Evil Sunz Scarlet. Like that sort of thing. And then similarly around the bottom edges of the tears in the fabric. We're going to add a little highlight and towards the bottom. So with all of our red details now done, what we're going to do is going to move on to those horns, and the colour we're going to be using to highlight these is Sotek Green. And with that Sotek Green applied, we're then going to take a small amount of Fenrisian Grey, and just along the sharpest edges of these horns, we're just going to apply a highlight. So with that done, what we're now going to do is move on to our next colour, and that is going to be all the silver. And the colour we're going to be using to highlight this is Ironbreaker. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to apply our final highlight, which is going to be some thinned down Liberator Gold. And we're going to be using this over the top of all our gold details. We're just going to very carefully now pick our way around all of the edges. Just like this. And so with that Liberator Gold applied, our Chaos Lord on Karkadrak is now finished. However, there is one last thing to do, and that is this big rock. Now I'm going to be painting it in Black Templar, because this is the same colour as I've been doing for all of the stones on my Slaves to Darkness, well, most of them at least. And, well, you could do this any colour that you wish, but I'm going to be using Black Templar because I really like that nice dark grey that it gives. So we're just going to paint this all over the top. like this. And then to finish off the base, I'm going to colour in all that negative space using some Sterling Battlemire. I'm going to dry brush that with some Tyrant Skull, and then I'm going to add some tufts, some mixed green tufts from Gamer's Grass. And so, with his base complete, our Chaos Lord on Karkadrak is now finished. I think it's a fantastic model. It just is really, really awesome. It's very unique as well, the beast he's riding. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else, or at least no one else is riding one just yet in the mortal realms. And I think that kind of scale and kind of colour of the Karkadrak itself is just really, really effective. I'm very, very pleased with it. I can't wait to have this guy roll out alongside Archaon. Yes! If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you want to support me further like these legends and bosses on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/Warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/Warhipster. Alternatively, you could become a YouTube member by heading to the channel page and clicking on the join button just here, just like these amazing, wonderful people have done. And if you really like this video or you just want to shoot me some support, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.